Hello, students. We often hear this word development, but what does it really mean? It's not just about big buildings or economic numbers. At its heart, development is about our own desires, our hopes, and our aspirations for a better life. So, before we go any further, I want you to just take a moment and think about this for yourself. What does a better life or progress mean to you personally? Your answer to that is actually the very beginning of understanding this entire concept.
Okay, so let's start with our first section. We're looking at one word, development, but as we're about to see, it has many different meanings. See, development isn't really a final destination we arrive at. It's more of a journey. It's this whole process of thinking about how life can be better, and then of course working towards those goals, for each of us as individuals and for our country as a whole.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. That idea of a better life, well, it doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. Let's look at how different people can have very different goals.
Now, if you look at this table from your textbook, it gives us some excellent examples of just how different these goals can be. The most important thing for us to understand is why they are different. And it all comes down to one thing: their life situations.
Let's take the first example. A landless rural laborer, someone who works on another person's land. For them, what is development? It's very practical, isn't it? It means getting more days of work, earning better wages to take care of their family, and, very importantly, ensuring their children get a quality education so they can have a better future.
You see, their life is often a daily struggle. So their biggest aspiration, their idea of development, is to find a way out of this uncertainty and into a life that has some stability.
Now let's compare that to a prosperous farmer from Punjab. Their goals are completely different. Why? Because their life situation is different. They already have land, so their focus is on getting a higher family income, maybe by finding cheaper labor, and providing their children with opportunities to study and settle abroad.
And what about a girl from a well-off family in a city? Her goals are not about wages or crops at all. For her, development might mean having the same freedom as her brother, or being able to make her own decisions about her life and career, like studying abroad if she wants to.
So this is a very important point. The reason people have different ideas of development is simply because their life situations are different. Our background, our circumstances, they shape what we see as progress.
This brings us to a slightly more complicated issue. What happens when these very different ideas of development actually clash with one another?
Let's think about the example of building a big dam. For an industrialist, the dam is a symbol of development. It means more electricity for factories, which means more growth for the country. But for an Adivasi, a tribal person, living in the valley where the dam is being built, that same project can be a disaster. Their land, their homes, their farms might get submerged underwater. So when we see people protesting against a project like this, it's very important to not just assume they are against development. That's often not true. They might be protesting because their idea of development is different. One where their homes, their land, and their way of life are also protected. Please take a moment to really read and understand this sentence. It's the second key idea for today. What may be development for one person may not be development for another. In fact, it can even be destructive for them.
All right, this brings us to another important question. Is development only about income? Is it just about having more money?
Well, the answer is a clear no. While everyone wants a better income, there are other things that are just as important for a good life, things that we can't measure with money. We call these non-material things.
Think about things like equal treatment, freedom, security, and being respected by others. These things are absolutely essential, aren't they? Our lives would feel very incomplete without them. Just think about the role of friends in your life. You can't put a price on friendship, but it is so important.
Let's take this example. Imagine you get a job offer with a very high salary, but there is no job security. Now, compare that with another job that pays a bit less, but offers regular employment and gives you time for your family. Which one would you choose? Most people look at a mix of goals, not just income. So, after our discussion, let us summarize the two most important things that we have learned today. Please remember these two conclusions, as they are the foundation for our entire study of development. First, different people have different developmental goals. And second, what may be development for one may not be development for another. It can even be destructive.
This leads us to a very big and important question. If everyone's goals are different and sometimes even conflicting, how do we as a country decide what is the right path for national development? This is why societies and nations need to agree on some common criteria to judge what is true development for everyone.
And to end today, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Just consider your own family.
Do you think that you, your parents, and your grandparents all have the same ideas about what a better life means? It's a great way to see how these big ideas apply even within our own homes.